again, YouTube. This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the Object Editor commentaries, where I create tons of characters in the Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor right here. This is one feature of the game. It's only in the Wii U and PC versions of the game, so please stop asking me. It's not in the 3DS and it's not in the mobile versions, please. We've started off with a SUNBATHER. You want specifically the female SUNBATHER for our source object for today's creation. This is just the first one, but it's going to be Frieza. And so this is Frieza's first form. And yes, just getting back to the requests real fast, I just want to say, of course, you can suggest them in the comments, but I choose each week based on whatever is most popular and most requested every single week. So you can see we've taken off the head, shrunk the legs, took off the arms, and now we're adding in a glow stick. I'm trying to get it perfectly horizontal here. Paint that all white. Hopefully you see the coloration, of course, of everything else on screen as well. And we're going to type in a mola. This is also a sunfish, a mola. You just want to take its body piece right here and turn it kind of 90 degrees this way, rotated, I guess, clockwise. And so then I've given it this kind of color pattern that has some lines in it. You can really go with a lot of, I guess, color patterns that would accomplish the same thing, but I just thought this one was the best. Sort of a brownish, orangish color and whatnot. That's for some pieces of the armor right here. And we're also adding pec muscles. They look like boobies, but they are Frieza's pecs, you know, his chest muscles right here. And that would be kiwi. Kiwi the fruit, of course, because it'll give you the option when you type in kiwi. It'll say, do you want a bird or do you want the fruit? And so, of course, as I said, you want the fruit. And then we've got a male thief. Take the arm. I've taken the arm that's in the back because it does not have the little black dot on it. You know, a lot of Scribblenauts characters, like you can see the SUNBATHER's front leg right there to our left, to its right. It has the black dot on it for where the joint is. And so, again, sometimes that's how Scribblenauts characters are, and a lot of the times the things that are in the back, you know, the arm or the leg or whatever's in the back, will not have it, so that's why I've chosen that one. And then we've got a shark pup. Take the back fin, bottom fin, and give it this same kind of color pattern that we did to the mola body right there, near the chest, I guess, of Frieza, more on the abs, I guess, and give it that coloration. And we've got the thief's arm now in place, probably. Just gonna move it and adjust it, just like it needs to kind of come down a little bit farther, so I'm gonna try to see what it looks like matched up with another arm on the other side, so we'll copy and paste those pieces and put them there. And I'll also put another glow stick at the top because we want that little white line or whatever over the pectoral muscle part of the suit that Frieza's wearing. This is, of course, Frieza's first form with the armor. And so here, this is the shoulder or bicep piece of an iguanodon that we place down over the legs of the SUNBATHER. Now I'm going to type in Ginny Green Teeth, and this is going to be for just one of the numerous ways you could probably do Frieza's hands and fingers and stuff. Again, there are tons of ways you can do it, so we'll show that off in some of Frieza's other forms later on in this video. But then if you're on the stamp icon and you go to your panel of shapes and things and panel of actions there's a 29-page library kind of near the top that you press on. Well, if you look at the 10th page, there is some mummy stamps and things, mummy body parts, legs, arms, head, body, all that good stuff there in the 29-page library. So again, it's on the 10th page. You want that leg. It's like the back leg of the mummy. And this is going to be really interesting. I'm going to try it, and I think it'll work out. But this is Brady Huck, one of the Fifth Cell members. And so if you do the female Brady, he's like dresses all like a girl and everything like that. It looks a lot like Brady Huck, but it has all this dress and some heels on. And so we did take the back legs of Brady Huck, and this is going to be like the leg armor that Frieza has on there. And Frieza's feet, this is probably the hardest part of Frieza, I would say. You know, like there are probably several stamps you could use, but this is the one that sort of popped into my mind, was to go again with that Ginny Green Teeth arm, but make that actually be the feet. And so you can make your Frieza, of course, flying or hovering, and it'll make a little bit more sense when it's like that. But even if Frieza is walking, I'm sure that he will still look legit with these legs. We may investigate some other legs in the future of this very commentary. And so then I've taken the 4th page of the 29-page library. There's an arm there in the bottom, and I took that arm right now, and that's going to be for part of the tail. The other part of the tail, we're going to make a wedge, and you want the tool wedge. So, you know, wedge could be a shoe, and I think there's one other option. But anyway, we are on the scripting and properties editor, and so whenever this is happening in my series, I like to read background information or fun facts about the characters we're creating. So here we go, Frieza, which, by the way, we're spelling it F-R-I-E-Z-A, as that's how the English anime Funimation dub spells it. But Frieza is one of the recurring bad guys from the Dragon Ball manga and the Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Super anime adaptations. Frieza is also in the 2015 Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F movie. Frieza controls his own Imperial Army, and his design is sort of a concoction combination of what the artist thought that monsters looked like in his childhood. Noted as being one of the most sadistic characters in DBZ, Frieza loves death and destruction, and he himself claims that he does not tolerate cowardice, bad haircuts, and military insurrection. He says this because he declares that Vegeta has all three of those qualities, in his mind at least. Just saying, but I'd love to have Vegeta's epic hairstyle. Anyway, I know how many people really do like Frieza and enjoyed his character, and I didn't necessarily enjoy or not enjoy Frieza exactly, but I will say this about him. When I was younger and watching DBZ, looking at him and hearing him, my brain constantly wanted to think of Frieza as female. I don't know, his voice to me was like a drag queen who had been smoking way too much, and that's actually a reference to something I said way back in the days on a Mario Kart Friend Room commentary a long time ago. But I don't know, I mean, it just always seemed to have like a scary woman's voice, not like a womanly voice, but a scary woman's voice. But okay, we'll go ahead and call this one First Frieza, since we do want to distinguish. You know, you can do Frieza first form, but I figured that this would just be easier to type over and over again. And so our First Frieza, the only thing that I wanted to add before we sort of moved away from the first form was I do need to replicate this, I'll copy the shark pup, that's the shoulder armor right there, and paint the bottom one white. So we do want the white kind of bordering or outlining the shoulder pads right there for our first form of Frieza, and it looks awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and start out with a different source object for our Frieza in second form. So we're gonna go with a mecha. The mecha is all too perfect. I mean, I've found so many uses for the mecha as a source object. It's incredible. But here we go. We've taken off the arms, the head, and of course, one thing to know when you take off the head and you want to do the heads and the body separately, like I do in a lot of my characters in this series, you do want that head grid to be moved forward. So it needs to be ahead, you know, the layer, it needs to be on top of the body layer, not behind it. That is important. So right here, you can see we're adding a 10th page library arm shape. It's the mutant arm, that little green arm or whatever. That's going to be on either side of the torso or body here of our mecha, just for some armor pieces and whatnot for the Frieza armor. And we went with Mola again, painted purple this time, and painted kind of, or turned upside down, I should say. And then we're going to do Iguanodon and take that same kind of shoulder bicep piece in the back right there. And we're going to put this actually as Frieza's bicep or shoulder piece. And so that's all looking good. And you can tell, of course, with these and these, not only these bicep pieces, but also the torso, they're in the middle, just below the mola and just above the black parts of the body, the hips and stuff. So just above that, you can see that I gave those the same kind of color pattern. It's like this pinkish, reddish, like flesh tone almost or whatever for the muscles and stuff. Well, that also has a pattern library color to it. So again, just kind of go with one that has lines in it that you like. And we're going to do this Brady Huck thing again. I liked how that turned out, or it might be Houck, Brady Houck, H-O-U-C-K. And then we're going to type in Mother Nature, and we'll try something a little bit different. Last form, we did an octopus, kind of the straight-ish piece of the octopus tentacles, and put that there in this place. But this time, we'll go with Mother Nature just to show off another design thing, and it does look a little bit more accurate to Frieza's second form here as we're creating it. And so then I'm going to go with an amber. This will be different than the shoulder pads that we used on the first form of Frieza, of course. So the amber is going to be done twice on each shoulder, and one is just because it has this huge like purple gem or whatever within the shoulder piece. So now the behind legs, the one in the back for the bear, we took the kind of thigh piece. So again, this is the two back legs, but the one that's in the back behind, not in front, back legs. Okay, that thigh piece, that's going to be sort of for like the wrist guards slash forearm guards or whatever right there on Frieza. And we're going to use a clown nose to make the fist like it's balled up or whatever. So that looks okay. That all looks fine. Chupacabra is what I'm going to type in next, and take this back leg, the leg, it's the left leg of the Chupacabra to our right. Take that one, and that's going to be for some, I guess, armor plating right here as well on the wrist guards, forearm guards. And so then we'll copy, of course, the amber that was on the shoulders right there. Dang, this is actually looking even better than I thought it was going to, so that's awesome. 22nd page of the 29-page library. Go ahead and grab this arm shape right here. It's almost straight, but it has a little bend in it, and that's going to be for the majority of the tail right here. But then we're going to kind of end that off with ivory. You do see, hopefully you notice real quick, the stamp space limit has been reached. So ivory ends off the tail, and that's the last piece that we can use for our design. So why would I ever create a head and a body separately? Well, that's a good example right there. Scribblenauts Unlimited, though it's called Scribblenauts Unlimited, actually is limited. The stamp space that you're allowed, you do have a limit. So a stamp is basically any item that you use to place on your main object that you're creating, or your main item character thing. And so for the scripting, you know, for the weapons and for the projectiles and scripting and stuff, I'm doing various things. Like you can do ice ball, sphere, circle, pearl, tons of things. Somebody actually mentioned in another commentary of Kid Boo, they said, why don't you just use the @debug method? And I have shown off the @method to do kind of unique items and stuff like that, but the more that I can not do that, the better, because I don't want, you know, I want these to be accessible to everybody, and not everybody knows how to do the @method. Not everybody's gonna sit through this episode, which is already gonna be like over 20 minutes probably, to do all these Frieza forms. So again, I'm holding off on that. But since we're not gonna make a whole lot of edits for 3rd Frieza compared to the 2nd Frieza, I will show in the same window something I've never done before here. We'll do the 4th Frieza form as well, and hopefully you notice that the feet down there were Tube Man. You can just take the Tube Man's little hands and stuff, just above its arms. So grab those hands, and of course the 4th Frieza is gonna have a lot of stuff painted white and whatnot, so there's not as many color patterns right here. And so I'm gonna use a stamp piece that I've never used before. It's called the Shofar, SHOFAR. That's gonna be for the tail of this Frieza on the 4th Frieza form. So again, everything that I'm commentating right now is down for the 4th Frieza, unless I make a distinction of that. And so we can keep on a lot of the same stuff though. Basically what we did was we just copied the 2nd Frieza form for both 3rd and 4th Friezas. And so on both of the wrist guard, forearm guard armor, we've put down Tube, T-U-B-E, and so that's the purple parts right there. And then I'm gonna go with the Triceratops, kind of for that middle piece that's in the armor. It's just below the chest, over the abs, and this is, again, it looks like the mola body piece that we put on our other Frieza forms. But this, you know, for one, I like to give you guys different options of different stamps you can use, but also, I thought that this looked good with the different coloration and stuff. When you color it purple, it looks kind of multicolored and crazy, so I thought it was a good kind of effect. So again, you could just see it right there as we've got our gold Frieza, but then I threw it away. But yes, on our gold Frieza, it's basically just copying our 4th Frieza form and recoloring it, because that's in essence very close to what gold Frieza is. But you can see that we changed things like the shin armor right there. We did put an amber on that, as well as the wrist guard, forearm guard armor. And so here we're just kind of doing some last properties and scripting and things like that. Gold Frieza, it's pretty crazy. So I guess those who have seen Resurrection F know about gold Frieza, but otherwise you may not even know. So here we go. We're gonna go with the heads now for all the Frieza characters and all the Frieza forms. We'll just go in order once again, 1 through 5. And so starting off with the head as the source object is sort of the obvious thing, of course, that we've done. Painted it all white in case there's any of it showing, but then I put a mola body down that's gonna be kind of like for the chin and the mouth pieces. And then a tooth, we're gonna put down 2 teeth, of course, that's just in a second. But then ivory on either side of the mola, back behind it, of course, is what we're gonna put down there. And so then after you've placed your 2nd tooth here up above, use a dot. And so the dot is actually gonna be for the purple kind of like gem or whatever that is on Frieza's head, like covering his brain and stuff like that. So there we go. A dot looks good. And then we're gonna go with a wedge, the tool, once again. That's actually gonna be for the horns for the 1st form of Frieza right here. I think that that looks really good. It looks accurate. So then we're gonna go with an octopus. So type in that, and then let's grab this kind of bendy piece that is on our right side. Octopus is left, of course. It's an upper tentacle piece of the octopus. And so these will be like some kind of doubling as eyebrows as well as helmet stuff and just head design and stuff like that. So anyway, then type in Fang and give it that sort of pinkish red muscular pattern thing right there. You can see it coming together. So it all looks okay. I'm just making the minor adjustments at this point, and then we're gonna put down the eyes. So using some geometry library shapes. If you're using Scribblenauts Unlimited, you can just grab them from the geometry library of shapes, but if you're using Scribblenauts Unmasked, that's called a trapezium, so you will need to type that in on Unmasked. And then we're gonna use a golf ball for the red parts of the eyes within these trapezium shapes for our Frieza right here. It's all coming together nicely. And a pimple is gonna be for the pupil, or the dot, the black dot within the eyes. So that's good right here. We'll copy it, of course, put it on the other side, move around a few things, and then we're gonna need to edit the rest of the head, or the rest of the mouth, I guess. And so I'm gonna look for, what am I going for? How about going with a 29-page library arm shape? This is kind of in the top right corner. It's the kind of thin, straight arm right there on the 20th page. And then we'll use lips for the mouth. And then, of course, 2 more of that 29-page library arm shape from the 20th page. Just copy that 2 more times and kind of make it the shape of the nose right here. And then we'll go into the geometry library and grab an oval, sort of for some shine there on Frieza's shiny head helmet part. So that all looks fine. Anytime that you're editing a head and a body separately, creating them as separate objects, you want to go with your head object to the equipment tab here in the scripting or properties editor, and make sure that on the equipment tab, you filled the little circle that says can be worn on the face like glasses. So that's what you want. Frieza head 1 is what we'll call this. The last thing that we need to add are sort of like the ears. We're going to use drain to accomplish this because we are going to run out of stamp space on that second drain right there. We have hit our limit, so that's going to be it. I think that that's good for the Frieza head 1. And so, of course, for your head and body separate objects to work out, you need to give the head piece to the body piece. And since you went into the properties editor and did can be worn on the face like glasses, it will appropriately go and fit where the head should be. You may need to go and edit your body shape a little bit and change the green grid, head piece to go in the right position for when you give your head object to it. Alright, so here's Frieza head number 2, and we've used ivory for the horns for this one, and of course took off the dot right there, sort of for the main gem, and we're going to replace that with a dragon egg. The only main reason that I was doing this, we could have kept on the dot if you want to, but I thought that the dragon egg also looked accurate. So once again, showing you multiple different ways you can create things, and that's also to my point that if you, ever feel the need to complain about my objects or say, like, I would have used this because it's better, well, first of all, better is a matter of opinion. Some people love the music of Lady Gaga, and then some people think that she's terrible, and so it's like, it's just opinions. Well, that's like this. And so I'm just trying to give you multiple ways to create here. You don't have to do things exactly how I do them. But I often give you multiple options, like here on Frieza head number 3. We've taken an Ankylosaurus and just used the front leg thigh piece of that for sort of this mouth area, the purple part of the mouth. And then, of course, eyebrow is going to be for those crazy teeth smilingness. I used a color pattern from the 7th page of the color pattern library, that crackly one with the white and the cracks in it. And so, of course, for this eyebrow white part above the eyes, I used this arm again from the 22nd page of the 29-page library right there. And amber is going to be for the kind of big top parts of the head. So not only the white part, which is bigger, and then the purple part, which is smaller within that, or over it, I guess I should say. So that is amber only twice. That's all we needed to do. And then a horn, of course, use the animal horn, not the French horn or anything like that. Use the animal horn, and that's going to be for the horns at the top. And then fang is going to be for the 2 horns down near, closer to the mouth, closer to the eyes and stuff down below. And then a kiwi is going to be for this little purple ear-like thing down there, behind everything. But okay, now we got Frieza head number 4. So this one is the craziest. It looks so awesome. We did a head as the source object, a golden egg over that head. So the golden egg is sort of the main part that's all white. And then using parallelogram eye shapes instead of the trapezium eye shapes, that's parallelograms painted white right there for the white part of the eyes and their outline. Lips for the mouth, 29-page library arm shapes for the nose, 2 of them. An eyebrow right next to the lips for sort of the smirk, I guess, the smirky part of the mouth. Kiwi for the ear pieces, and then a duckling's body is going to be for the purple gem thing on top of the Frieza's head right here. Of course, the can be worn on the face like glasses, just like for all of these. The same principles are going to apply a lot for golden Frieza's head. This will just show you it a little bit slower, except for on that last Frieza, the 4th form, we did squid tentacles as the lines on either side of the mouth to kind of create that outline. Whereas this time we've used a different stamp piece, which I'll get to in a second. Here's the duckling body, painted purple, of course. Put that right here. Curve it down a little bit so it has like almost a teardrop shape or a flame shape. The Ankylosaurus, though, going back to that, using the back legs this time, but the one that's in the front you can use, and just take that thigh piece. That's what we used for the mouthpiece here on the golden Frieza's head. And of course on the body, we didn't use the shofar as the tail for the gold Frieza. We just used an ivory for that. So that was another difference. And bodybuilder arms, the back arm of the bodybuilder, those are there instead of the iguanodon shoulder pieces on gold Frieza. So here they all are, just in one line like this. Look at that, that's crazy and awesome. Hopefully you have a good time making these characters, because I certainly had a good time creating them for you, and it was awesome, of course. So thank you so much. Make sure to check out dkcgaming.com, my website, and then remember that I go live for live streams every Monday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, Eastern. That'll be at www.twitch.tv/drkendo. That's twitch.tv/drkendo. And I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as a spectacle.